Good morning. My name is Sister Brenda Whetstone. I'm a member of the leadership team at Mount St. Francis. We welcome you. We welcome all who have gathered here at Clare House Chapel. We especially welcome Sister Marlys' family, her friends, her classmates, and all her Franciscan sisters. We welcome the people joining us via technology as well. We gather today to honor and remember Sister Marlys and to rekindle in our hearts an appreciation for the gift that her life was for us. Please join in the opening hymn, Tend the Ground, number 626, verses 2, 3, and 5. Sister Marlys died with Christ and rose with Christ to new life. May she now share with Christ eternal glory. God of mercy and love, as we relinquish our sister Marlys into your holy embrace, we praise you for the ways her giftedness touched hearts and minds. We praise you for her faithfulness to the promises that she made and for her desire to follow faithfully in the footsteps of Francis, Claire, and Mother Xavier. We thank you for her family, her Franciscan sisters, her friends, and the caregivers who walked with her through the joys and challenges of life. We pray this in Jesus' name.
A reading from the prophet Isaiah. Let the desert and the wilderness exult. Let it blossom profusely. Let it rejoice and sing for joy. Strengthen all weary hands, steady all trembling knees. Say to those of faint heart, take courage, do not be afraid. Look, God is coming to save you. Then the eyes of the blind will be opened, and the ears of the deaf will be unsealed. Then those who cannot walk will leap like deer, and the tongues of those who cannot speak will sing for joy. Waters will break forth in the wilderness, and there will be streams in the desert. The word of the Lord.
My name is Julie Hill, and I am a member of the pastoral care team here at Mount St. Francis Center. I want to begin with a quote from Sister Marlys. She stated, "If I had but 2 loaves of bread, I would sell one and buy flowers, for they would feed my soul." Marlys shared this statement on more than one occasion. In her retirement years, she would spend hours upon hours out on the grounds here at Mount St. Francis working in the flower gardens. At the end of the day, she would be seen with a smile that would radiate from ear to ear. She knew what fed her soul. During her years of ministry as a hospital chaplain and hospice volunteer, she journeyed with people who were dying, grieving, or facing health challenges. Some people might find this a draining experience, but Marlys found it to be life-giving, an experience that fed her soul for over 30 years. Journeying with others helped Marlys cultivate her own soul. Marlys had a reverence for the cycle of life. Whether at the bedside of a dying patient or tending to the natural rhythm of the garden, Marlys came to understand the daily dying that is necessary in order for new growth to happen. Marlys lived what we hear in Ecclesiastes chapter 3. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to destroy and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. At this time, we invite you to share any of your memories of Sister Marlys. A microphone will be brought to you and will be held for you. Please state your name and stand if you are comfortable.
I'm Sister Virginia Jennings, and I would like to share some thoughts from a friend of Sister Marlys and a Sister of Mercy, Rita Sukup. Dear Franciscan community and caregivers, Sister Mary Ann and family, friends and colleagues, I, together with each of you, bless the life of our beloved Sister Marlys. To give someone a blessing is one of the most significant affirmations we can offer. It is more than a words of praise and more than a pointing out of someone's good deeds. To give a blessing is to say yes to someone's belovedness. We bless you, Marlys, as a wonderful daughter, sister, and aunt to many. A person who valued growing up on an Iowa farm that generated rich stories of its wondrous beauty, attentiveness of family and neighbors in tending the land, and a strong faith community. We bless you, Marlys, as a long-term gifted chaplain to Mercy Medical Center in Sioux City, who was responsive 24/7 and who touched the hearts and minds of patients, their families, and caregivers in moments of crises and tragedy. We especially remember the horrific United 232 airline crash, where you prayed and ministered endlessly with a compassionate presence of God's love that became a treasured story by the pilot who survived. We bless you, Marlys, for your caring presence to your sister, Sister Mary Ann, during her health events and recovery, for your special presence to our sisters, and your gracious way of always receiving mercy hospitality with deep gratitude. We bless you, Marlys, for your recent ministry, Care of the Earth, and its meaning for you and others in living your later years. I close simply by holding the blessings of rich memories of you, Marlys, as a special treasure from God. For all gathering today in person or virtually, we anoint you, Marlys, with our gifts of gratitude and tears. God's gift of companioning you in your life's journey, Marlys, has been my privilege. We bless you with deep love.
I'm Sister Dolores Vanowitz. This is a message from Marlys' niece, Laurie Becker. One of my favorite memories was helping Marlys pack for her move from Sioux City to Dubuque. In true Marlys style, there were lots of laughs and visits from friends and with farewell wishes. It was at the end of the day, when all the boxes were packed, that Marlys shared her hesitation and fear that she would not find in Dubuque that she loved so much in Sioux City. She thought the people there were so special and wasn't sure she could find those same relationships anywhere else. What she didn't realize was that she was the one that was so special. It was her that created and fostered those deep, caring relationships. She accepted all who crossed her path and never turned away a person in need. Marlys often spoke of the angels that looked over her. I know she is now among them and looking over us.
I am Sister Ruth Ellsburn. This is a memory from Sister Janice Hoffman. In 1995, my parents came from Marshalltown to visit me in Cherokee. My mother had a stroke while there, and she spent many weeks in the hospital in Sioux City. Marlys and Mary Beth Goldsmith invited my dad and me to stay with them during that time. My brother Glenn also talked about how kind Marlys was over the years. Our family has always been grateful for her hospitality.
I'm Sister Rita Green, and this is a message from Diane Shinto, Marlys' niece. This is a story about Marlys' doll, which sat beside her bed in her room. She received this doll from her parents when she was a young girl. After Marlys had left home, her mother gave the doll to Marlys' sister, Hazel, so her daughters would have a doll. The girls played a lot with the doll. When they left home, the doll went with them and was kept in their possession. Years later, Mom contacted me about wanting to return the doll to Marlys. She felt that it was time to give her back to her original owner and wanted to do it at one of the Becker family reunions. The doll had, of course, seen a lot of wear because of its age, as well as being played with by the nieces. Little did I know that I had a lot of work ahead of me to get her back in shape and clean up. I took it to a doll hospital to see if it could be repaired and prevent further damage. Unfortunately, I was told that there wasn't really much that could be done for her. They suggested that I put a covering on the head to protect it from any further damage and to make sure that she had some type of clothing covering her body to protect it. I went shopping for a new bonnet and found one in the baby department, and I sewed her a new dress. Mom returned the doll to Marlys. Of course, Marlys was so excited and happy to have the doll back in her possession. On one of our visits to the convent, Marlys took us to her room. Marlys showed us where she placed the doll so that she was able to see the doll every time she entered her room. Marlys' eyes would just sparkle, and she would get the biggest smile on her face each and every time she talked about the doll.
I am Sister Janet here at camp, and I'm reading a memory from Jesse Russo, who is a staff member of Mount St. Francis. Sister Marlys retired from her ministry in Sioux City within the first year that I started working for the Dubuque Franciscans. When we met, we shared a conversation about her retirement. As she spoke to me, she began to cry, and in doing so, made real to me the loss and the grief that can come when a sister leaves her ministry. I have held that in my heart since that first conversation and felt in her vulnerability. She gifted me with an insight into religious life and the sacredness of ministry, which has only helped me in my own. That first conversation connected us the last 10 years, and she would often visit me, sometimes just for a hug. We always joked about our height difference, and if I was standing when she arrived, I would sit so our hugs would be more on a level playing field. And then this memory is my memory. I would meet Marlys every once in a while going out to the garden, and I would say to her, "Oh, Marlys, the weeds are already shaking in their boots because they hear you coming." And she would say, "Oh, I wish they would shake in their boots. They're so hard to pull out of the ground."
I'm Sister Anne-Marie Dunn, and this is from Cindy and Wayne Peterson, friends of Sister Marlys. We remember Sister Marlys well, as we were good friends when she was at Mercy Hospital in Sioux City. We loved to have her over for dinner. She was a great conversationalist with a fabulous sense of humor. We remember her telling the story of a cancer patient that she wanted the priest to go and talk to, because the priest had been a teacher of this patient during high school. The priest said that he was embarrassed to go to see the patient because the priest had been mean to him many years ago. Sister Marlys said he should definitely go talk to the patient because perhaps God was giving him the opportunity to make amends. He did go see the patient, and they reconciled, and were both very happy they had spoken. Sister Marlys was a dear lady, and we were privileged to know her.
My name is Sister Michaela, and I'm talking of a event that we had. My dad had a heart attack, and he was in serious condition and in Sioux City Hospital. And he ended up having to have open heart surgery. And I can still see Marlys reassuring us, coming back every once in a while to tell us how the surgery was going. She made it possible for my mom and us kids to get through that surgery with good thoughts and prayers. So thank you, Marlys.
I'm Sister Carol Himsad. This hasn't been mentioned yet, and it was pretty significant at the time. Sister Marlys was still out in Sioux City, but I think her time was probably either the hospital was redoing itself from stem to stern, or maybe it was just routine out there. But Shalom was just opening and needed lots of curtains and furniture and pillows and bedspreads that Marlys would pack her car full of stuff that the hospital was throwing out, and it was in plenty good enough shape for us. And she would grab a hold of that task and know how to finish a room before she left. She knew, she had a sense of rightness for that kind of task, and just blessed the Shalom place so wonderfully with everything she brought across the state. We were always grateful to her. Thank you.
I'm Sister Rosemary Baskey, and I got a phone call from Marlys. This was when I was up at La Crosse, Wisconsin, almost finished with my clinical pastoral education course. And she told me that there was an opening at the Iowa Veterans Home in Marshalltown. And so I talked just a little bit, and then I called our leadership team, and they said, I don't think so, but we'll check into it. So, not too long after that, I got a call saying that there was an opening there. And so I contacted them, and within a few months, I was there as one of their chaplains. And we had over 700 residents there. There were like 3 of us, 3 chaplains. I was the Catholic, and there were 2 others from different religions. And I just enjoyed those years there. I think I was there almost 11 years, working and getting other people involved with bringing the residents out for services and all. So it was just really, and I just praise and thank Sister Marlys for contacting me and letting me know about it. Thank you, Sister Marlys.
I'm Sister Lila Hillman. I'm a classmate of Sister Marlys's. Marlys was a great friend of mine, and she and I worked around the grounds here one summer. And I found that Marlys took plants and bushes and all the things out in nature as friends. She knew how to use her hands to make things beautiful. She knew how to nourish plants, and the plants knew how to nourish her. She was a person who was a companion with the plants and also praised God. And we'd be amiss if we didn't mention the Dubuque Rescue Mission. Marlys spent many, many hours at the Dubuque Rescue Mission putting order into places that were in chaos. And she knew what to do. She knew how to get people to help her. And I was there one day with her, and it was interesting how she could look at one of the residents there and say, I need some help. And pretty soon there'd be 2 or 3 people trying to help her. So she was a great organizer and a great lady to be with.
Like Marlys is saying, there she is on the run. That's how I work here with the homeless. But I remember Marlys when she came down to Cedar Rapids. I'm a Sister of Mercy. And she would have one of your Franciscan flowers transported. She'd bring them down and share them with Sister Mary Ann, her sister. You know, and then she'd say to me, you have a piece of pie, do you? Because Mary Ann would always say, now get some apple pie made before Marlys comes down. And they'd be sitting up in the computer room, or they'd be having dessert and telling all their stories and their jokes. So a lot of Franciscan was transplanted down to Mercy. We were always glad to have her there because she was always funny, had a joke, and always be telling me stories about Ida and some of her brothers. So it's been a while since I met the family till this morning again. But she loved family and loved baseball and sports, and was always active when wait for days for Marlys to come down, and she said, no, you know, you could catch a ride, just call over there when you're coming down to Cedar Rapids and bring her with you. Sometimes their schedules would meet, and sometimes they wouldn't. But when we could, we did. But just was a lively person, we appreciated her, she always felt at home, and she was always welcome to be at home with us. Thank you.
My name is Sister Rita Getkin. Speaking of desserts, a couple of years ago I was back to baking desserts, but it was right after a surgery I'd had, so I wasn't supposed to stick them in the oven. So I asked Marlys if she would help me, and of course, in her graciousness, she said yes. But it wasn't just the fact that she was faithful about putting things into an oven and taking them out, but it was her commentary along the way. You'd think she had been on a radio show with the Magic Chef or something, and she had all these adjectives like delectable and about the texture and all that. And it was just fun. I mean, I couldn't believe it myself, and I began believing things about my desserts through her words.
I am Mary Jo Beasler. You're talking about food. I will never forget, I had the opportunity when Sister was up in Sioux City that I took my mom along. I was going farther out to work in one of the Dakotas, and so I stopped by and Sister was giving us a tour in some of the areas up there. And I'm sure when you go to family gatherings, you always get to grace the food. Well, that was one thing Marla said, oh yes, I've been in all of these places. All you have to do is say, you'll say grace.
Well, thank you. It's been wonderful sharing these memories. We'll hold them in our hearts in the days, weeks, and months ahead. Before we go our separate ways, let us take leave of our sister Marlys. May our farewell express our affection for her. May it ease our sadness and strengthen our hope. One day, we shall joyfully greet her again, when the love of Christ, which conquers all things, destroys even death itself. Let us now pray for Sister Marlys in silence. And now we will sing our Franciscan blessing.